Welcome to Real Truth and Power. Come on in the building, family. Let's get this knowledge. Welcome to Real Truth and Power, where we provide powerful content to uplift the Black community with health, wealth, and knowledge itself. Again, my name is Everett Winchester, and let's get the show started. I got some powerful information. Want to talk about why isn't Africa a superpower, and can it be a superpower? What are the issues going on with that? So let's start the show right now.
You are now tuned in to Real Truth and Power, the show that uplifts the community with health, wealth, and knowledge of self. Here's your host, Everett Winchester.
All right, family. Once again, welcome to Real Truth and Power, where we provide powerful content to uplift the Black community with health, wealth, and knowledge itself. My name is Everett Winchester, and I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about Africa. Africa is the richest continent in the world. We all know this. Africa is the richest continent of the world, and it's been drained by its resources by Europeans. So we want to figure out, can Africa be a superpower again? And I started thinking to myself, that's a good question. But first, why isn't Africa a superpower? In order for Africa to be a superpower, it has to do a couple of things. First, it has to deal with tribalism, religious differences, and the impact of the Berlin Conference. So this is deep. Now, what is the Berlin Conference? Well, the Berlin Conference was, I believe, 1884 to 1885. I think that was it. Look that up and come back to me. Put that comment in there if I'm wrong. But I believe it's 1884 to 1885. It was the Berlin Conference. And what happened with the Berlin Conference is that European colonial powers identified and took parts of Africa. Nowadays, it's more not as mostly Europeans, even though they probably run state parts of it. But now it's the Chinese. It's the Japanese. It's India. They're controlling and they're taking over Africa. So let's deal with it from the competitive side of how can they become a superpower again. First, let's talk about tribalism. There are probably about, there's a lot of tribes in Africa. I think it may be Nigeria alone or one of those countries. It could be maybe 200 different tribes with speaking 250 different languages. So that's a lot of differences right there. It's kind of like in America when you have the east side and the west side and different sections of neighborhoods and gangs and stuff like that. Not to say that the tribes are beefing like that, but when you have different languages and you have tribalism, it's division. Instead of everybody coming together, like we say here, Black people need to come together. The Africans over there need to come together. Religious differences, of course, as you know, if you're a Black person here, religion can separate you. You're a Muslim or I'm a Christian. We believe this. You believe that. We're so busy arguing over, is it Allah, Jesus Christ, that we're not unifying on the specific goals of Black people. You have your religion, I have mine, I have my way of living, you have your way of living, but we all need to come together. So religion and tribalism kind of separates them a little bit, and we need our brothers over in Africa to unify. Why? There's a thing called competitive versus comparative economics. Now, comparative economics is what's usually happening now, and that's wrong. So, for example, Africans, they have the raw materials. What the Africans would do is sell the raw materials to Europeans. Europeans would go and process that raw material and manufacture items, come back to Africa and sell those items at like quadruple the price. So imagine me having an apple and I go and I sell the apple to a company. The company makes apple juice and then sells me back that apple juice for $2. The apple costs 50 cents, but you selling it to me for $2 for apple juice. When in hindsight, I should take this apple, make my own apple juice, and sell my own apple juice. So comparative is when you had an apple and you give it to them, they sell it back. Competitive is when you keep that apple. You keep your apple, you make your own apple juice, and then you sell it to them for $2, if that makes sense. So we're losing money. They're losing money on the raw materials. That's another thing that has to change. I think it's something else, that could help Africa overcome. And those are some pretty basic things. I would say the main important thing is unity. Unity. If they can unify and start controlling those resources and start creating, empowering themselves by selling those raw materials after they produce raw materials, meaning going back to that apple, if they can start making apple juices and, all of those things that they have over there, because Africa has all the when I look at medicine, I see all of these roots and all of these things, and it all originated in Africa. Some may say India, but most of these things are in Africa. And they don't control those resources. And if they do control them, they're doing comparative where they're selling those resources and they're not getting it back. So I hope that makes sense. What we need to do is identify with those brothers over there. Marcus Garvey said we need to unite around the diaspora. So could you imagine with the Africans controlling those raw materials and us networking with the Africans over there and manufacturing things or getting those products and coming over here and selling them to the Europeans over here? So the answer is, can Africa be a superpower? That answer is yes. But they got to overcome the economic issues that they have. They have to overcome the separation that they have from tribalism. And they have to overcome colonization. Right now, again, like I said, whites control most of it. And now Chinese and Japanese could control most of it. We are forced to deal with the resources they give them in Africa. So the answer is yes, Africa can be a superpower. The major question is, will it? That answer is up to us. It's up to us over around the world. Can we unite and start educating our African brothers? Can we start going over there and talking to our brothers and getting resources and helping them get their thing together? Can we just unite? I think that's the major thing. Forget being a superpower. If black people unite, it's lights out. So hopefully that enlightened you guys to it. And I think the major thing was comparative versus competitive economics. That's a major thing. We have to get raw materials. When you start talking about producing, I always hear, and I love Dr. Boyce Watkins, he says you have to be poised. Poise, a producer. You have to produce something. Africa has all the raw materials to produce something. You have to own something. So if they own that raw material, wow, you have to invest something, invent and invest in something. So if they can have their money and invest in companies because they have the raw materials and things of that nature, S, you have to save. And that goes for us too. Save your money, invest wisely, be smart. And E is being an entrepreneur. And like we talked about, competitive versus comparison, they have to be entrepreneurs, have their own businesses set up. And so do we over here. So hopefully that gave you a brief thing of how Africans can become a superpower, how Africa can become a superpower. And let's go and support. Let's unite around the diaspora. One love, man, and hopefully you're enjoying this knowledge. Please, again, if you can, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. We got a lot of powerful information coming out, and I hope you guys will enjoy it. My name is Everett Winchester, the owner and the podcast host, and I hope to see you guys again. Thank you for tuning in. Share.